Hello, everyone. I hope everybody's in the room well. Welcome to the CPActive New South Wales Government Graduate Program information session. I'm Aman. I'm a part of CPActive leadership, and I'm your host for today's event. I'm really glad to be your host, and I'm very excited for all of you to join us today. To begin, I would like to pay my respects to the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation on whose land this meeting is being streamed from today. I would also like to pay my respects to traditional owners of the lands on which all our guests today are joining from as well. I pay my respects to elders both past and present, and welcome any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people who are attending this event. Today's event has closed captions. As you can see, we have live Auslan interpreters here who will be pinned to our screen throughout the event. In terms of accessibility, if you have any other access needs, please send us the direct message in the chat so we can make sure that you are looked after. So we at CPActive are very excited to be partnering with the New South Wales Public Service Commission to deliver this event today as part of our work on the Blaze the Trail campaign with the New South Wales Government. So for those of you joining us for your first CPActive event, please let me tell you a little bit about our movement. CPActive is an organisation that amplifies the voices of people with lived CP experience to create change on what matters to them. We do this through running disability-led campaigns and both building and empowering a community of advocates, which I'm proud to say is currently almost 20,000 members strong. Blaze the Trail is one of these CPActive campaigns that advocates for a more inclusive school to work pathway for students with disability. In 2023, the New South Wales Labor government committed to the 3 asks of the Blaze the Trail campaign as part of their election push. And as such, we are working closely with them to bring these policy asks to life. As part of this work, CPActive is partnering with the New South Wales Public Service to enhance disability inclusive pathways to public sector employment, especially getting a foot in the door through the graduate program and internships. I myself am 23 years old, and I know that finding a graduate job is a very daunting experience. And I'm sure many of you in attendance today can concur. And it's even more so if you have a disability. That's why today's event, as I'm sure you will all agree, is a major milestone in this journey to create inclusive employment, providing tailored information directly to our disability community on the grad program of Australia's largest employer, which, you guessed it, is the New South Wales Government. So we have a great event planned for you today with an array of special guests that will help you better understand the grad program and how you can get involved. There will also be an opportunity for a Q&A at the end. So please put any questions you may have in the chat throughout the event and as the event goes on. If a similar question to yours has already been written, please upvote that question with an emoji reaction so that we understand which questions are most popular and can make sure they are answered. It's a tight schedule, which we hope to stick to in about 45 minutes. We may run over time getting to all those questions. If you need to drop off at any time, please know that the event is recorded for you to watch at any point. Additionally, there'll be a follow-up information pack provided via email in the next few days with written answers to any questions that we can't get to today. I would like to highlight here that the government cannot answer questions about individual applications or circumstances, but more general questions about the adjustments or the application process are good to go. Again, if at any time you need any additional support to access today's session or the information provided, please message the tech support person directly in the chat. I would like to introduce our first speaker today with all the admin stuff cleared out, which is Chris Lamb, the Deputy Commissioner of the New South Wales Public Service Commission. So Chris joined the public service in October 2020 after previous senior leadership roles in people and culture, talent and organizational development for companies such as Lendlease, American Express, and Westpac across Australia, Asia, and Europe. That's a pretty stellar resume, if I say so myself, Chris. He has a strong commitment to achieving outcomes related to diversity and inclusion and has overseen award-winning programs for flexible working, gender diversity, Indigenous engagement, LGBTIQA+ inclusion, and mental health. So I'll hand it over to you now, Chris.
Thanks, Aman, and good afternoon, everybody. Yes, my resume is long, but I'm not 23 years old like you, so that's going to happen. I'm also joining from Gadigal land, so I'd like to pay my respects to the elders of this land and extend respect to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining us today. It's really fantastic to be here to talk about the New South Wales Government Graduate Program. Look, I think the only thing I'll say in addition to what Aman talked about in terms of my resume is that I'm also the Deputy Chair of Diversity Council Australia, and I've been on that board in 2 stints for about 14 years. So I think the private sector experience, the public sector experience I have, but also the not-for-profit experience working in the diversity and inclusion space, hopefully really brings some value that I can add to this conversation. So one of the things and one of the reasons, in fact, that I joined the New South Wales Public Service was its commitment to workforce diversity. As a workforce, we strive to represent and reflect the diversity of the communities that we serve. So it not only helps us to better understand and respond to community needs, but and deliver great outcomes, but that diversity of thought really informs the work that we do. Now, I'm sure some of you have read that in New South Wales, we have a commitment to reach a target of at least 5.6% of our workforce being people with disabilities. We know that the lived experiences of people with disability, as I said, can inform and enrich the policies and the services that impact not only the people with disability, but the broader community as well. So I just wanted to touch on some of the things that we are doing to help us achieve that target at the PSC. So the first thing is we coordinate the implementation of recommendations from the Disability Review to support more people with disability being employed in government and to develop more inclusive working environments. This includes having a consistent definition of disability based on the social model for disability, a consistent approach to workplace adjustments, training for people managers, and practical recruitment guidance and tools. And we're also responsible for leading recommendations from the Disability Royal Commission to achieve targets for employing people with disability in the public sector. Many agencies in the New South Wales public sector also drive their own disability inclusion work through their disability inclusion action plans. Now, we've recently refreshed our employee value proposition to ensure it authentically represents what the New South Wales public sector offers as an employer. Our employee value proposition is for your future state, and it reflects our professionalism, our altruism, highlighting that the public service is an opportunity to enhance both an individual's career, but also importantly, enhance the future state of our community. And there are 4 pillars that support that statement. One of these, I won't go through them all, but one of these is real life ambition. And again, it reflects our aspiration to drive a diverse workforce and relates to us being flexible, understanding, and considerate of others. And we don't just look out for ourselves. We also think about others and to seek to build a supportive culture where, as individuals, we feel like we're all working together to achieve great outcomes. So in terms of our graduate program, we're passionate about increasing the number of opportunities for people with disability in the New South Wales Government Graduate Program. And as Aman said, we are the biggest employer in Australia, more than 450,000 employees in New South Wales Government. Since 2016, we've had about 5% of our graduates on the program have identified as having a disability. So it's quite close to the 5.6% target that we have set ourselves as a sector, but we're always striving to do better. And when recruiting to our graduate program, we aim to attract people with diverse experiences. And while we consider university qualifications in this process, of course, we also see graduates from various backgrounds and with different life experiences. We always encourage people with disability to apply for the graduate program to talk to us, not only about adjustments to the process, but about other support that we can offer. And we do have a cancer from Peter Berry Consulting here who'll be able to answer some specific questions a bit later in the session about the type of adjustments that can be made. And we're also really proud that our graduate program team and our partners, Peter Berry Consulting, are all accredited by the Australian Network on Disability as disability confident recruiters. This means that we do everything we can to remove barriers in our recruitment process to make it more accessible and inclusive for people with disability. And we do also have a dedicated contact for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people interested in applying, which also can offer guidance and support through the application process. One of the great things about our program is that you are well supported throughout the program. From day one, you have a manager and a mentor and an executive sponsor. You also have the opportunities to connect with graduate colleagues through networking events and workshops. So you'll hear a lot more about the program today and the support that we can offer. That's all I'll say by way of introduction. I do hope that you are interested in the New South Wales Government Graduate Program, and I wish you all the best in your application, and I would love to see you starting your career with New South Wales Government.
Yeah, thank you to Deputy Commissioner. That was a really great speech, and it's awesome to have a senior executive from the government come and talk to us and highlight the commitment that the public service has to employing people with disability. And I think the government is definitely a sector leader in that regard. So I will now hand over to Caroline Reid, who is a member of the graduate program's organizing team. As you can see, some slides are up on the screen, and she will talk through everything you need to know about the grad program. Over to you, Caroline.
Thank you so much, Aman. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Caroline Reid. I'm part of the New South Wales Government Graduate Program team. We'll just get the slides moving. Sorry, there's just a bit of a delay moving the slides. So I'm going to start by talking you through what the graduate program is and the experiences you'll have as part of the program. The New South Wales Government Graduate Program is open to graduates who have recently completed a bachelor's degree or above. There are 5 streams in the program: primary, which is a general stream, legal, digital, social work, and engineering. The primary stream is open to graduates who have a degree in any field of study. This stream has a focus on transferable capabilities, and as part of this stream, you could work in areas such as policy, service delivery, communications, marketing, human resources, data and research, and finance. The other 4 streams relate to specific occupations. The legal stream is open to all recent undergraduates and postgraduates with a law degree. As part of this stream, you could work on litigation, legal advice, policy development, or drafting of legislation. The digital stream is open to all recent undergraduates and postgraduates with an information technology or related degree. This stream is for people who are interested in harnessing technology to improve service delivery to citizens. The engineering stream has roles for graduates with qualifications in civil, environmental, and mechanical engineering, project management, mining, and resources. The social work stream is open to all recent graduates with social work, psychology, or social science welfare degrees. This stream is for people who are interested in working with vulnerable children or young people and their families, as well as carers, to enable support, protection, and safety. The placements you do across the New South Wales Government offer you a broad range of experiences. Graduates in the primary, legal, digital, and engineering streams undertake 3 6-month placements across government agencies over the 18-month program. The social work stream, however, if you're in this stream, you'll complete 2 9-month placements around different areas of the Department of Communities and Justice, building essential knowledge and skills for a caseworker role. On successful completion of the program, you will be offered a permanent full-time role in what we call your home agency. And this is the agency where you spend your first and your third placements. The New South Wales Government is large and sometimes complex. So we have put together a comprehensive support system for all graduates as part of this program. A key component of our program is mentoring. All graduates have a mentor and an executive sponsor who are there to support you and discuss career goals, share knowledge, and help you establish networks. You will attend a series of networking events as well as part of the program. The third component of the program is learning and development. If you join the primary stream, you'll undertake a new learning and development component delivered by UTS. Legal graduates study towards a graduate diploma of legal practice through the College of Law. So they're ready to be admitted as solicitors in New South Wales by the end of the program. Digital graduates become members of the Australian Computer Society's Partnership Program, which includes targeted online courses tailored to your career aspirations. Social work graduates undertake group supervision and tailored caseworker development training, so you can make the best possible decisions about children and their families. Engineering graduates will undertake a development program delivered by Engineers Australia. You'll also have access to technical experts and resources. Through this program, you'll have Engineers Australia membership and be supported to achieve chartered status. Once you start, you'll find that the New South Wales Government provides a flexible and supportive culture. As a person with a disability, you can request that adjustments are made to ensure you're able to participate in the workplace on an equal basis with others. Of course, workplace adjustments will be different for everyone, but some examples include using assistive technologies, requesting changes to your physical workspace, modifying the way you work or communicate with others, and where different ways of working are required, such as changing work hours or locations, these can usually be managed under flexible working policies. Flexible work practices may vary between agencies and departments, but flexible work practices can include things like varying your start and finish times, compressed hours, and accruing flex time. Flexible work can also include hybrid work, allowing you to work from home in line with your agency's flexible work policies. Most roles in government have a 35-hour work week, which, in combination with flexible work practices, helps you to maintain work-life balance. The key message here is that the New South Wales Government has a supportive and inclusive culture, and that workplace adjustments are available and will be tailored to your individual needs at the time of onboarding with your new agency. I'm now going to give you an overview of the application and assessment process, and after that we'll get into more detail about the kinds of adjustments that you can access for the application process. Now, before I talk you through the application and assessment process, I want to emphasise that you can request application adjustments at any and all stages of the application. So the first step is an online application. Here you fill out an application form, and there's also a cognitive assessment. The second stage is the pre-assessment centre activities, which includes an individual task and a personality assessment. The third stage is the assessment centres, and this includes an interview and a group activity. From here, if you move into a successful pool, you may be considered for roles. And it's at this point, upon getting an offer, that you would discuss workplace adjustments. So I won't go into a lot of detail about each of these assessments, because how you complete these may vary based on what kind of adjustments you need. There's comprehensive information about each of these stages on the website, and Peterberry Consulting will proactively contact anyone who declares on their application form that they require adjustments to explain the whole process. Now, it might sound like there are a lot of steps, but the process is designed to give candidates the opportunity to show their unique interests, skills, and capabilities. Just a quick reminder on key dates. Applications for the 2025 program are already open and they close on the 14th of August, 2024. The assessment centres will be delivered in September and employment offers will be made towards the end of the year. If you are successful, you will start your career with us on February the 3rd, 2025. Before confirming a final offer, candidates must have completed satisfactory pre-employment checks for academic qualifications, criminal history, and full-time work rights, as well as references. It's also important to note that no late applications will be accepted, so we recommend that you start your application as early as possible. We provide support for students with disability throughout the entire recruitment process and beyond. The graduate program has been accredited as a disability confident recruiter by the Australian Disability Network. We provide adjustments at each step of the application and recruitment process, and everything is confidential. So please don't hesitate to reach out. We have a dedicated person that will assist you with any adjustments, Akansha, and she's on the call with us today. We also partner with Aboriginal services provider Indigico to provide tailored support for Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people. This can include having an Aboriginal assessor, and all of that information is on the website. We also have a virtual internship program. This is available for free and will help you get a better understanding of what graduates do within the New South Wales Government and help you to prepare for assessment centres. You can complete work modules with policy, digital, data analysis, legal, economics, and marketing and communications. And there's a link to that internship program on the website. So as I mentioned, we provide dedicated information and support for people with disability. There's a dedicated page on our website and we work with Peterberry Consulting to provide comprehensive and confidential adjustments at all stages of the application process. The graduate program webpage has a lot of other information available, which is helpful when putting together your application. Once you submit your application, you will receive an email with some more helpful tips about each step of the recruitment process and what to expect. And remember to check your junk and spam folders for emails from us. So I'll now talk about how to request an adjustment. Peterberry Consulting also proactively contact candidates who indicate in their application that they may require an adjustment. If you note this on your application, they'll contact you and provide a detailed outline of the application process and all the steps involved, and they'll invite you to get in touch to discuss adjustments. We encourage you to request adjustments at any or all stages of the recruitment process. Some examples of adjustments include providing information in screen reader compatible formats, providing people with vision impairment a phone assessment instead of an online assessment, providing untimed assessments where required, and longer break times between activities or extra reading time. It's important to note that all application adjustments are managed by Peterberry Consulting and not the graduate program team. Now, the process to request an adjustment is that you reach out with the request for an adjustment at any stage. The dedicated support person at Peterberry Consulting will ask questions about what adjustments are needed. From here, solutions are proposed and Peterberry Consulting work with you to finalise the adjustments. And of course, it's all confidential. To request an adjustment or to find out more, please contact Akansha. We will also send an email out to you after today with this information. So you don't need to worry about writing this down today. And again, it's important to note that Akanksha is completely independent of the assessment process. So all of that information is kept confidential. I'd now like to introduce Thomas Boyce, who is a 2024 graduate who just this week has started his second placement. Tom, thank you so much for joining us today to share with us about your application experience as a person living with disability. Hi, Tom.
Hello.
Tom, would you like to tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Yes, please, Caroline. As Caroline has just said, I've just successfully completed rotation 1 of the graduate program. For my first rotation, I was at the Department of Customer Service, and I was part of Service New South Wales Division. Yesterday, I commenced my second rotation, and for this rotation, I am based at iCare, which is the state government's insurance division. Prior to commencing in the graduate program, I had previously worked in the public sector at the Department of Communities and Justice and Department of Planning and Environment on short-term roles and internships run through the Australian Network on Disability.
Fantastic, thank you so much. Now, Tom, were you nervous about applying to the graduate program?
Caroline, yes, I was. The reason why is I had previously applied for the graduate program in both 2021 and 2022 and was unsuccessful. The latter attempt was the hardest to take because I'd gotten so close. I had actually made it to talent pool stage, which was made harder by the fact that my previous contract role at DCJ expired at the end of 2022. And because of the upstate election the following year, the public sector slowed down in recruiting new roles. So it was not until July before I commenced my next role, which was an internship at DPE. So when applications for the grad program opened last August, I applied for it. I was nervous and anxious during the recruitment process, especially during the waiting periods, even though I was a little more relaxed in the actual stages because I was familiar with the various stages of the recruitment process, so I knew what to expect.
And that's fantastic. It's so great to hear that you didn't give up and that you took the opportunity to apply again and were ultimately successful in gaining a role. So congratulations. Now, during any of those application processes, did you contact the team at Peterberry Consulting to request adjustments? And what was that like?
Yes, I did contact the Peterberry consultancy team at more or less every step of the way of the process. Like, I submitted on my form that yes, I needed adjustments throughout the process. And because for someone with a disability, I find adjustments are a must during the recruitment process. And when I first contacted them, I contacted them via phone to speak with one of their consultants directly. The consultants were helpful and polite, and they would refer to you by your first name, which was nice, and that's what you want from a consultant.
Fantastic, thank you. And if you're happy to, would you like to share with us a little bit of information about some of the adjustments that you might have been able to access?
Yes, I'm happy to share the adjustments I received during the recruitment process. The first adjustment I got was during the pre-assessment stage, where instead of like doing those tests, I actually did the phone assessment. And for those of you who might be wondering what a phone assessment is, think of it as similar to a phone interview in which they would ask you 2 or 3 questions, and they would ask me what would I do to solve the problem. The problems were issues that the public sector faces, and from memory, one of the questions was, what can the public sector do to create more jobs and economic growth in regional New South Wales? And what challenges and issues do we need to overcome? The point of the phone assessment was to test your thinking, like how broad and wide your thinking was. Other skills I think they were assessing was critical thinking, and also identifying which parties and stakeholders would be involved.
Fantastic.
Yes, for the actual for the record, the phone assessment, like you can't really study or prepare for that one. For the assessment centre, I did get like additional reading time and time to actually complete the interview questions. And yes, having an extra longer break between various tasks on assessment day, I got those. And at least last year, there was another adjustment I got was during the video interview, in which applicants recorded a 2 to 3 minute video response outlining why you are applying for the graduate program and what you will bring, as well as what you hope to get out of the program. I got 2 additional days to complete my video response.
Fantastic. And you mentioned when we had a discussion prior to today as well, that you had some additional support during the application process. Who did you reach out to for that?
Thank you, Caroline. I got assistance from the Australian Network on Disability, although it's now called the Australian Disability Network. And how I got assistance from the Australian Network on Disability was via their PACE mentoring program, which stands for Positive Action Towards Career Engagement. The PACE program is where job seekers with disabilities are paired with professionals in the workforce who provide practical tips and advice, such as preparing resumes, cover letter writing skills, and interview prep. And I joined the PACE program last year, and I was very fortunate that with the timing of submitting my application for the grad program and starting the application journey for this for the graduate program. So I had my first PACE sessions just before the assessment centre day and was able to get invaluable interview practice just before the assessment centre. And in my opinion, like having the PACE mentoring like during the recruitment process, I think made all the difference between success and failure, because I was able to get from the talent pool stage and get past the video interview stage and talent pool stage into the graduate program.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tom. I'm now going to hand back over to Aman for the Q&A panel, but you're going to stay on and maybe respond to a few more questions there as well. So I'll just hand back over to Aman now.
Thank you.
Thanks, Caroline. Yeah, wow. Thanks to you, Caroline, and also Thomas for your very informative presentation on the program. I think, Caroline, your information was very clear, and it's always great to hear from someone directly as well as reading the website. And Thomas, I think it's very reassuring to know somebody with a disability has had a great experience in the program. So now we will have 4 people, including Caroline and Thomas, join us for the panel. And in this final Q&A part of the event, we'll have a few minutes. I would first like to ask Hugh, who's just appeared on my screen here. Hugh is also part of the organizing team of the graduate program. And to you, Hugh, how does the program ensure an inclusive and supportive work environment? Are there opportunities for flexible working arrangements, including things like location and part-time options?
So certainly flexible work and workplace adjustments are available for most roles, though just bearing in mind that the options can be a little different depending on the agency and the type of work that you're doing, because in this program you're employed by a state government agency. An example of that is like the Department of Communities and Justice, as opposed to by the program itself. Some of those options could include flexible hours or flex time. You can also make a request to your agency for a workplace adjustment that supports you to deliver your work effectively. And the main workplace and the main time of workplace adjustment wouldn't be available would be if there's an essential requirement for a role in the role description. And so with all that said, in terms of part-time work, there is an example, for example, where a graduate with a condition that affected their ability to work for sustained hours, they negotiated to work 3 days a week. So there have been examples, but with that said, the purpose of the program or the roles in the program is generally a full-time position.
Perfect. Thank you. That was very informative. And for all of you, maybe starting with Thomas as someone who's currently going through the program, what training opportunities do your teams have regarding disability awareness? Are there any specific workplace initiatives around diversity and inclusion, or support networks for employees with disabilities?
So Chris mentioned earlier that the graduate program is accredited as a disability confident recruiter by the Australian Disability Network, and a part of that includes training for our program team in holding disability confident conversations, as well as recruitment and workplace adjustment training. And a lot of those resources are also available for hiring managers and sector leaders all throughout the New South Wales government. Also, New South Wales government employees do have access to many networks to support them in their workplaces. For example, many agencies have a disability employment network, or DEN. Those DENs and other resource groups are active and open for anyone in the public sector who has disability or who wants to champion disability awareness and support. And all those DENs come together for a monthly DEN Connect forum. So that's an opportunity for employees across the sector to have an opportunity to get together as well.
That's awesome, Hugh. Thank you. It's great to know that there's so many initiatives that the government does have. I think DEN is something that's very unique in the public sector as well. So Thomas, what have you most liked about your experience during the graduate program yourself?
What I have most liked so far about the graduate program is the they can accommodate for adjustments if you need it, including if you need to finish work on different times every day, whether you have to go to health appointments or receive ongoing care. That's generally provided without any issues. And also you're also in my cohort, we get a mentor and a work buddy, which is a very good thing to have. And also they have the UTS workshop program for all graduates, which is ongoing, which is a good thing to have to see fellow grads.
Awesome, Thomas. I'm meant to be asking the questions today, but I think I'd like to add something here as well, because I also worked at the government for a few months last year at New South Wales Treasury as part of an Australian Disability Network internship. So it wasn't quite the graduate program, but I have cerebral palsy myself, and I was really blown away by the inclusion initiatives and acceptance at the government. As you said, Thomas, it was very accepting to me when I had physio appointments in the morning. I said, look, I may have to arrive at 10 a.m. They said completely fine. I think as a new graduate, you're always really worried about start times and end times and all the rules. So it's really awesome that they were so accepting about that. And actually speaking about the workplace initiatives, I in fact joined the CPActive team and leadership in part thanks to Treasury. I had actually lost touch with the CP community for about 5 or 6 years after the NDIS, and there was a September event at Treasury that was organized in the offices, and I was able to reconnect with some of the people, some of the employees at CPA, and I really wanted to start working with them, and that's how I was able to actually get back. So, you know, Treasury also gave me another job, which is really awesome, and I've had a really good experience with the government as well. So now I think we're about at time, guys. So just before we wrap up, as a quick nightcap to this event, to each of our panelists, maybe starting with Thomas or whoever wants to go first, what's the one word that best describes working for New South Wales government?
I'm happy to jump in. I would say impact. The work we do has impact. Thank you.
Anybody else? Maybe Hugh, you want to have a crack at it?
I would say diversity, because one of the commitments of the government is to hire people who look like the people who live here in New South Wales or come to New South Wales. And I think that is reflected in our public service.
And finally, Thomas, if you come to, what's the one word that you would describe for the government program?
It's hard to sum up in one word. I'd say it's worth it.
Worth it. Perfect. Perfect. That's amazing. That's a great way to wrap it up, Thomas. I think you've done my job for me. Impactful, diversity, and worth it. Those are the words to keep in mind. So with that, we'll wrap up our event for the day. Thank you for joining us for this great information session with the Public Service Commission and CPActive. We hope you found this information really helpful towards starting a career in the public service, and are reassured about the inclusive nature of the grad program. As a reminder, before we wrap up, an information pack will be sent in the upcoming days with responses to any questions you may have. There will also be links provided to the application. I believe the link might have just been put in the chat, as well as contact details of the Public Service Commission, CPActive, and I think Akansha from Peter Barry Consulting, who you can probably see on my screen right now, as she handles all the adjustments. The close date is 14th August, so it's in 8 or so days, but the application process is really easy. I've taken a look at the form and been blown away. So put your application in, see how it goes, and best of luck. Thanks, guys.